Turning anger into wisdom. A Buddhist perspective. Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed by anger at work? A colleague missed a deadline, your boss dismissed your idea, or perhaps the chaos of your daily routine feels unbearable. Anger in the workplace is common, but it doesn't have to consume you. Today, we'll explore how Buddhist principles can help you transform anger into clarity, wisdom, and peace. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to approach challenging situations with grace, without losing your temper. 1. Understanding anger. The root cause. Anger arises from the interaction between our inner psychology and external circumstances. According to Buddhism, anger is not directly caused by external events, but rather by our perception, attachments, and emotional reactions. Here are some key causes of anger. Cause 1. Ignorance, avijja, not seeing reality. Clearly, Buddhism teaches that ignorance, avijja, is the root cause of anger. Ignorance means a lack of true understanding, particularly failing to recognize the principle of impermanence and interdependent arising, that all things arise due to conditions and have no fixed essence. When we become angry, it's often because we misunderstand reality. We assume that things should unfold according to our expectations rather than according to cause and effect. The Sutra of 42 sections states, "People are often ignorant, clinging stubbornly to things." In other words, anger arises when we rigidly hold on to our personal notions of right and wrong. But our perspective is often incomplete. When reality clashes with our expectations, anger emerges. Here's an example. You work hard, but your boss doesn't acknowledge your efforts. You feel frustrated and angry. However, from a Buddhist perspective, your boss's opinion is shaped by many factors: his mindset, priorities, the company's circumstances, rather than being a direct judgment of your worth. Cause 2. Attachment to self, ego-centered thinking. Many times, anger arises because our ego feels threatened. Buddhism calls this attachment to self, over-identifying with me and mine. When someone challenges our ideas, rejects our requests, or disrupts our plans, we feel personally attacked. This attachment fuels anger. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha said, "If there is no self, there is no mine. If there is no mine, there is no sorrow or distress." Here's an example. You present a proposal in a meeting, but a colleague dismisses it in front of everyone. Your anger likely doesn't stem from the rejection itself, but from the ego. The feeling that your competence or intelligence has been undermined. If you can let go of the attachment to your self-image, you'll be able to focus on finding a solution rather than reacting emotionally. Cause 3. External triggers, the event. Itself is neutral Buddhism. Teaches that anger doesn't come from external events themselves, but from our internal reaction to them. The outside world is just a trigger. Whether we become angry depends on our inner state. The Avatamsaka Sutra states, if one wishes to understand all Buddhas of past, present, and future, one should observe that all phenomena arise from the mind. This means that the way we interpret an event determines its impact on us. Let me give you some examples. Two colleagues walk down the street, and a stranger yells at them. One immediately becomes furious, feeling insulted. The other stays calm, thinking, maybe he's having a bad day or mistook me for someone else. The same situation, but two completely different emotional responses, because our minds shape our reality. Cause 4. Craving. When desires are blocked, anger arises. According to Buddhism, anger often comes from attachment to specific outcomes. When we strongly desire something, success, recognition, money, status, but reality doesn't meet our expectations, we feel frustrated and angry. The Dhammapada states, "From craving arises sorrow, from craving arises fear. He who is free from craving has no sorrow or fear." For example, you work hard expecting a raise, but it doesn't happen. If you cling to the belief that I must be rewarded, anger follows. But if you accept the reality and focus on improvement, you free yourself from emotional turmoil. 2. The cost of anger in professional life. Let's take a moment to reflect. How often has anger truly helped you resolve a problem at work? Chances are it hasn't. Uncontrolled anger damages relationships, clouds decision-making, and harms your professional reputation. Anger not only causes emotional outbursts, but also affects physical health, interpersonal relationships, and workplace performance. In Buddhism, anger is considered a poison that not only harms oneself, but also negatively impacts those around us. Below are the main dangers of anger. 1. Impact on physical and mental health. Buddhism teaches that when anger arises, countless obstacles follow. This means that anger not only clouds our judgment, but also damages our physical health. Modern medical research confirms that anger can lead to cardiovascular diseases. Anger increases blood pressure and raises the risk of heart disease and stroke. Weakened immune system. Chronic anger keeps the body in a fight-or-flight state, weakening immunity. Digestive issues. Anger can disrupt the gastrointestinal system, leading to ulcers, indigestion, and other problems. Mental health problems. Anger is linked to anxiety, depression, and increased psychological stress. The Dhammapada states, "An angry person does not see the truth. The fire of anger burns the heart, destroying all goodness." When someone is controlled by anger, it is like being consumed by fire. They lose clarity and destroy their own kindness. A professional who frequently felt anger toward their boss's decisions developed anxiety, insomnia, and high blood pressure, which negatively affected their work efficiency and quality of life. 2. Impact on workplace performance. In the workplace, anger not only hinders personal growth, but also lowers team efficiency. Specific effects include poor decision-making. Anger often leads to impulsive rather than rational decisions. Damaged teamwork. Frequent outbursts push colleagues away and disrupt collaboration. Limited career growth. Regularly expressing anger in front of supervisors or clients can harm professional image and promotion opportunities. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha said, "Responding to anger with anger never brings peace. Only patience and understanding can overcome it." For example, a manager angrily scolded an employee for making a mistake. Instead of improving, the employee became resentful, leading to a toxic work environment and ultimately affecting the company's overall performance. Reacting to workplace injustice with anger only worsens the situation. True solutions come from calm and rational communication. 3. Damage to interpersonal relationships. Anger can also destroy relationships in various ways. Family conflicts. People who frequently express anger are more likely to argue with family members, disrupting harmony at home. Loss of friendships. Those who use anger to express dissatisfaction may find their friends distancing themselves. Workplace isolation. Employees with a reputation for anger may be seen as difficult to work with, limiting their professional growth. The Dhammapada states, "Controlling anger is like taming a horse. A well-trained mind brings peace, just as a skilled rider controls their steed." A person who can control their anger is like a skilled horse rider, not only benefiting themselves, but also positively influencing those around them. For example, during a meeting, a person lost their temper over a disagreement. As a result, their colleagues became wary of them, making future teamwork difficult. 4. Becoming a slave to anger. Anger is an energy-draining emotion that leads into loss of self-control. When angry, people are easily overwhelmed by emotions and make irrational decisions. Being trapped in the past. Anger often causes people to dwell on past grievances, preventing them from moving forward. Destroyed future opportunities. Those who frequently react with anger limit their social and professional opportunities. The Buddha said in the Samyutta Nikaya, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a burning coal. You are the one who gets burned. Anger is like holding a red-hot coal. It ultimately harms the person who refuses to let it go." For example, some individuals quit their jobs or cut ties with colleagues in a fit of rage, only to later regret their impulsive decisions. To sum up, why should we learn to control anger? Anger not only harms physical and mental health, but also disrupts career growth, damages relationships, and enslaves us to negative emotions. How to avoid the dangers of anger. Develop self-awareness. Recognize your emotions before reacting. Practice perspective taking. Understand situations from different viewpoints. Reduce attachment. Let go of rigid expectations and accept change. Transform anger with kindness. Approach challenges with compassion and logic rather than anger. In Buddhism, true strength is not about suppressing anger, but understanding its nature and transforming it with wisdom. 3. The Buddhist Way. How to transform anger through mindfulness. Have you ever been so angry that your whole body tensed up? Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, or a coworker took credit for your work. Anger is powerful. It can take over in seconds. But what if I told you there's a way to handle anger without letting it control you? Buddhism doesn't tell us to suppress anger. Instead, it teaches us how to observe, understand, and transform it wisely. Today, we're going to learn 5 powerful Buddhist techniques to deal with anger, so that next time you feel it bubbling up, you'll know exactly what to do. Step 1. Recognize the anger. This is an emotion, not who I am. Let's start with something important. Anger is not you. It's just a passing emotion. But when we're angry, we often think, I am so mad right now. Buddhism teaches us a better way. Instead of saying, I am angry, try saying, this is anger arising. Why does this work? Because when we separate ourselves from anger, we take away its power. We stop identifying with it, and it begins to lose control over us. What to do in the moment? Pause. Take a deep breath. Silently name what's happening. This is anger, not me. Imagine you're in a meeting and your boss criticizes your work. You feel the heat rising inside. Instead of reacting, you take a breath and think, okay, this is anger. Why am I really upset? Maybe it's not the criticism itself, but your fear of looking incompetent. Just realizing this reduces the intensity of the emotion and helps you respond more wisely. Step 2. Shift to compassion. Why is this person acting this way? Buddhism teaches that compassion is the antidote to anger. When someone upsets us, our first reaction is usually, how dare they treat me like this? But instead, ask, why is this person acting this way? Often, people aren't intentionally trying to hurt us. They're acting out of their own pain, stress, or fears. How to practice this? Take a step back and consider what the other person might be going through. Remind yourself, their behavior is about them, not me. Respond with understanding instead of escalating the conflict. For example, your coworker is rude to you. You feel angry, but instead of snapping back, you take a moment and think, maybe they're under a lot of stress right now. By shifting your mindset, you avoid unnecessary conflict and keep your peace of mind. Step 3. See the bigger picture. Everything happens due to causes and conditions. A big reason we get angry is that we believe things should go our way. They shouldn't have said that to me. This shouldn't have happened. But in Buddhism, there's a simple truth. Everything happens because of causes and conditions, not just because we want it to. How to use this to reduce anger. When something upsets you, pause and ask, what led to this situation? Instead of focusing on how things should be, focus on how they are and what you can do next. For example, you miss an important promotion and feel angry. But instead of dwelling on this is unfair, you reflect. Maybe I need to improve some skills or understand my boss's expectations better. This shift in perspective turns frustration into a learning opportunity. Step 4. Remember impermanence. This will pass. Think about something that made you really angry 5 years ago. Does it still bother you today? Probably not. That's because everything is impermanent, including our emotions. How to use this? When you feel anger rising, tell yourself, this is temporary, it will pass. Ask yourself, will this still matter in a week, a month, a year? Let go of small annoyances instead of holding on to them. For example, a coworker makes a mistake that delays your project. You're furious. But then you ask yourself, in a year, will this still be a big deal? If the answer is no, why waste energy being upset now? Step 5. Train your mind. Meditation helps you stay calm. Think of your mind like a cup of muddy water. If you keep stirring it, allowing emotions like anger and frustration to take over, it stays cloudy and unsettled. But if you let it sit still, the mud settles and the water becomes clear. This is exactly what meditation does for your emotions. It creates space between you and your reactions. Instead of being swept away by anger, you learn to observe it, understand it, and let it go. When you practice meditation, you train your mind to stay calm and clear, so that when anger arises, you're not immediately controlled by it. How to start? Step 1. Focus on your breath. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take slow, deep breaths. Feel the air moving in and out of your nose. Every time your mind wanders to anger or frustration, gently bring your focus back to your breath. Step 2. Practice loving kindness meditation. Silently repeat phrases like, may I be happy, may I be at peace. Then extend this wish to others, even those who have made you angry. May they be happy, may they be at peace. This rewires your brain to respond with compassion instead of aggression. Step 3. Observe your anger like a passing cloud. The next time you feel anger rising, instead of reacting, pause and simply notice it. Picture it as a dark cloud drifting across the sky, temporary and ever-changing. The more you observe without feeding it, the faster it disappears. Many high-level executives, athletes, and public speakers use meditation to maintain their composure under pressure. When faced with criticism or setbacks, they don't lash out. They pause, breathe, and respond with clarity. You can do the same. Meditation doesn't eliminate anger, but it gives you the power to control how you respond. When your mind is clear, Your actions are wise. This is the power of meditation. The next time you feel anger rising, try one of these techniques. Over time, you'll notice that anger loses its grip on you. And that's true strength. Not suppressing anger, but transforming it into wisdom. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more insights on mindfulness and self-development. Let me know in the comments which technique resonated with you the most.